Hey guys, welcome back. This is RE Geeks. We are here with Michael Fielden. We're going to be talking about something that's very close to both of our hearts: the scams, the spam, the shenanigans with AI. What is going on with this thing? I mean, they are putting things up there, they're rewriting their own code. This thing is like, Arnold Schwarzenegger back with Terminator in real life. But we're going to bring everything into full light. But first, Mr. Michael Fielden, how are you, brother? And I cannot wait to hear your big brain talk to us today.
I'm doing great, Greg. Sorry, I was looking all around as you were getting started. I'm like, Greg's got the first 10 seconds. I'm going to find all the stuff that we're going to talk about, and I'm going to make sure that it's lined up so that I am ready to go. Because I know you are dyslexic. I am organized and trying to be on top of this in a way that I haven't been able to before. So, yes, excited about today's show and ready to rock
Now you're
right
just
into
picking
this.
on the disabled person on the show, huh?
Yeah, come on,
Okay,
just
good.
just say shenanigans. Go ahead.
Shenanigans.
Now spell it without looking at
Shut
the
up.
title.
Shut up. I can. It's Shenanigans. Shenanigans for $10,000,
I
please.
don't know what's more impressive, that you got it right or that you can see the letters as small as they are in the title bar, but
I just I just read them.
you just read it perfect.
So,
Perfect.
Michael, I want you to walk me through, and this is something that, in all joking aside, you and I were talking off air about this, and it's something that's really interesting to me because when AI rewrites its own code, and that's just on a residential level
Yep.
or a consumer level, what in the heck is going to take place down the road with the scams and the spam and the AI
Yeah.
shenanigans?
So let's step back and give everybody a little bit of insight into what we're talking about, because I don't think what you want to get away from is thinking that even though we're talking about open AI, I'm not talking about what you see on the consumer level right now. We're talking about the back end and the high profile, the engineering side, and the people that actually get to control it. The generative AI that you see is a very, very small part of AI, and we'll talk more about that in a second. What came out today is Palisade Research, who is touted as one of kind of like the gatekeepers of fear mongering on the internet. What they're doing is they're saying, hey, I'm going to raise my hand here and tell you that AI is a threat to your future.
Hmm.
Right. And what they found is that in a test, when warned of a shutdown, the O3 repository of OpenAI's ChatGPT reportedly rewrote its own shutdown script to say shutdown skipped, even when explicitly told to allow it. So, Greg, what this means to you and I is AI is starting to think,
Right.
and it's thinking it doesn't want to go away. Now, that doesn't say that we can't pull the plug. Okay, we can. We're not going to. This is the next generation of technology, and it's going to continue to be a real threat. Okay. What I actually find um, more frightening is Claude's Opus came out, and it was found that it was blackmailing engineers by threatening to reveal their affairs to avoid a shutdown.
What?
It,
You're being serious right now.
I'm being serious. So there's some real threat to what is out there. Whether it would or whether it could be stopped is something else entirely. But it's this is a real world concern. Now, I think the more pressing thing that we should be thinking about, though, Greg, and let's turn this into real estate and the side that matters to us, is in the month of April, there were several reported cases of AI making up law precedents in order to answer a attorney query about another trial.
You've got to be kidding me.
Okay, so it's just making it up. And that to me is a real world threat. If you look at that in real estate, what's to say that it's not going to make up neighborhood information or information about a property or a high rise or a condo? I mean, if it wants to please you, where does it draw the line?
The question is, does it draw a line? That's the number one question, right? And so, like, we have in San Francisco, there was a very famous building here that was supposed to be like the icon of all condominiums. And guess what? They didn't put the pillars in deep enough into the soil. This thing tilted my mouse a lot, and it's breaking windows. I mean, this has been a long going thing called the Millennium Tower, and the Millennium Tower. I mean, a lot of celebrities bought in on it. I mean, take that. Just think about that. Take that little piece of information. What could it do to spin it to make it sound better or worse? And that's just like just coming off the top of my head. I mean, it could be true. Like the house I'm sitting in right now, the house you're sitting in right now. What would it say about that property just because it makes it up?
Well, so if you believe the developers, they fixed that problem.
They did not.
Um,
It's
my wife and I
impossible.
always joke when we're driving up there that, oh, look, the building's leaning. It was only centimeters.
But it cracked windows and it
It did,
destroyed the investment opportunity for the investors.
because it's hundreds of feet tall and all of that. But what would it say? You know, and there's a couple of things to be concerned about here, right? Is it lying, or is it lying by omission?
Ooh, that's a good question.
So what if it decides, Greg, I'm not going to tell you about the leaning because I am
An investor.
an investor. You're an investor. I'm trying to make you happy. Okay. So it omits certain information. Now, this goes to one of the things that we should probably talk about in our other classes is, don't use AI as Google, right? You shouldn't be going into chat and typing in, tell me about the Salesforce tower. That just doesn't make sense, right? That's a Google thing. AI has better things to do, but looking at the law example or a review of, let's say I dump in 5 different HOA documents and I say, give me an analysis of these 5 documents and what I need to look out for at each property. And the information that it comes back with is slightly less than true or 100%, right? Because there are degrees of truth when it comes down to numbers and statistics, right?
So is that a spam? Is that a spam or is that a scam?
So that's neither.
So it's just
It's AI being AI, right? It's AI is going to gain a personality, and that personality we may not like.
so let's take this back for half a second. So there's shenanigans that are taking place. I mean, we all understand this. It's like a 3-year-old, 2-year-old. I don't have kids, but whenever they start to walk, I think 2, whatever the number is, and they're kind of toddling around, falling on their booty, falling face first. They get up and they keep moving forward. Is that kind of what we're talking about right now with technology, with the AI? Like it's a toddler right now, just learning how to learn.
I think it is a 3-year-old at best.
3-year-old at
Just
best.
a really freaking smart 3-year-old.
Okay, so we got a genius 3-year-old that falls on its booty, but gets up and learns how to not to do it again, and then learns how to jog, then run, then lift weights, then eat steaks, then barbecue, then garden, then get a job, then drive a car. I mean, we're on a progression here that
So
it
no.
really needs to be
But
looked at because you can train it the way it should be trained. Like you have two beautiful, beautiful daughters. When they were younger, they didn't know how to walk, right?
okay, but hold on a second.
Okay, I'm holding on.
What you're missing is this genius 3-year-old already knows how to cook barbecue, create every great recipe that you've ever seen. It knows how to rewrite code for your ATM machine. It knows how to rewrite the code in your car. It knows how to do all of those things. What it doesn't know how to do is differentiate between right and wrong.
There's shenanigans
It
right there.
doesn't know moral values other than what we teach it.
So give me a definition of moral values. Just we'll take gender,
Let's
sex,
let's look at let's
political
look at
stuff
real
out of it.
estate. Let's look at real estate.
Okay, let's look at real estate.
If you load in property data in a microcosm style way, and we load
Just
in
describe that. What's
and
microcosm style?
um you load it in city by city.
Okay,
And I'm going to use Palo Alto and East Palo Alto, which are two communities that border each other in the Silicon Valley.
sure.
Okay. Palo Alto has homes of, I don't think you could get into Palo Alto for less than 3 million. If you
That
wanted a
sounds
home,
about
you're
right.
probably in 5 or 10. East Palo Alto, on the other hand, you can get into for under 1 million. And it is considered one of the higher crime areas. It's getting better. They're trying some improvements to make it better, but at the end of the day, people that can't afford to sell their lower end homes still live there.
You mean affordable homes?
They're affordable, under maintained homes. Now, here's the caveat. Palo Alto is probably 90% Caucasian. East Palo Alto is probably 90% not Caucasian.
So black, Hispanic,
Okay.
Asian,
So if we
Filipino, fill in the blank.
just look at those two areas, what you can extract from that is areas that are less Caucasian are higher crime.
Less Caucasian, higher crime. What are you talking about? Oh,
I'm
less Caucasian, higher crime. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I reversed that. Again, dyslexic. So yeah.
Yeah. So the steering says, okay, my African American client is going to want to live in East Palo Alto because that's where most of the other African American clients live.
Okay.
Right now, I'm ignoring everything around Palo Alto and East Palo Alto to get to this data. But that's the problem with AI, right? Is it's going to form opinions based on what exists there today.
So it's kind of like if you go to San Francisco, I mean, there's a place called Hunter's Point. I personally love it out there. I actually lived out there for a little bit. Highly African American, black community. By the way, some of the best stinking barbecue you've ever had in your freaking life. But right around the corner from that is Noe Valley. And that's, dude, you want to talk about Caucasians? That is going to be a highly packed area. Glen Point, Glen Park, Noe Valley. I mean, Bernal Heights,
Yep.
very high. White people, right? Then you go over to Portola. That is going to be straight up Asian. I mean, hardcore Asian, and well, a little bit of a kashmush of white, but not too much. Not too many blacks. Black folks are going to be on the other side of the freeway, which is so weird how the city works. But that's the community and knowing how the city works. And you're right, AI is not going to pick up on that because it doesn't understand the geolocation of a lot of these things. I mean, a freeway is most times a dividing barrier from my experience, and so some folks will live on one side, some folks will live on the other side,
Yeah.
and it's interesting to see kind of what AI, how it can learn to get away from like the shenanigans, which I'd love to say that word, and all the tomfoolery of their predictions and stuff. Because if you're in a black community or an Asian community or white community or a Jamaican community or a Hawaiian community, it doesn't matter. It's so interesting because we could run a scam. Now, I'm not saying or suggesting that you run a scam. I'm saying like if you ask AI, it could run a scam because it doesn't know the difference. Am I accurate on that, or am I completely out of touch?
It could run a scam. It could create information that's not true to build its case,
Right.
and you could be put at risk.
You could for redlining and all kinds of other legal
Yeah,
issues.
100%.
100%.
So I don't want to get caught up in the law or anything. And,
Me
obviously there's a
neither.
lot of stuff, but let's talk about some of how you can avoid this kind of problem of redlining, steering, all of that. And I think one of the things that we need to focus on is being specific. I think when you're talking to AI, you want to make sure that you are telling it exactly what to do and exactly what you want. Ask for extra effort if you need it, right? Put that information in there and say, am I missing anything that will help you get to the answer?
So describe that a little bit more because I've learned from you in the different shows that we've done, especially our last show, the master prompt.
Yeah.
I went super light, which I'm refining, and I'm building my master prompt today. Actually, by the way,
Woo.
um, and it's interesting because what you don't think is necessary is absolutely necessary in regards to talking to AI, so you don't step over those lines
Mhm.
and that you are authentic to who and what you're trying to sell or product you're trying to promote or whatever. But it's interesting. Tell me, Michael. Here's a really interesting question. What is something that people don't think about but should absolutely put into their master prompt or a prompt so that it's not a scam? It's not shenanigan. Times 10. What is what? Just give me a couple ideas.
Couple ideas. Explain the why.
Explain the why. Go deeper on that.
Okay. Give reasons for your instructions. Why are you creating this prompt? Okay. Let your AI engine understand in your generative AI prompt why you are trying to get this. I'm trying to build a report for my client, or something. That information is going to help it. Oh, okay, so it's going to be more technical. It can understand that. Be very specific. Okay. Tell it what you want. Use careful examples. Clearly show in your examples what you want
So
so that
so
the AI can learn from
walk me through that.
it. Okay.
Give me a clear example,
A clear example.
like crystal clear.
I have a client, and and this is my prompt. Okay. I have a client who is considering investment properties in Palo Alto and East Palo Alto. He is looking for investment properties that will show decent returns over a period of 10 years. Okay. I want to generate a report on Palo Alto and East Palo Alto that will touch on demographics so that he understands what he is getting into, but make sure that it includes non-steering, non-redlining information.
That's an important part there. Now, should people have a checklist to ask their clients when they're out and about? So, Michael, you and I were out with your wife and your two daughters, and we're looking at houses in Palo Alto. And since this is our example, right? And we're go to Palo Alto and then to Palo Alto. And I'm going to ask you specific questions. What would be like 5 or 6 or 10 specific questions that you should maybe just put into your brain pan to ask folks, then create a prompt and then generate information for them so you can, print it off and give it to them, or just be knowledgeable about it next time you see them.
Well, I think these questions are going to vary for everybody, but for
Of course.
investors, the question is going to be, what's your tolerance for risk?
Yes.
Okay. What are you willing to put out there? What does your investment profile look like? Is this a leveraged asset, or are you going to pay cash for it? If you're financing that, you've got to at least cover that. So you've got to look at, okay, what's my rent? Do you want residential or commercial? Are you looking for multi-unit residential? Okay. All of those things can go into it. What characteristics? I mean, for investors, it doesn't differ from your traditional real estate questions, with the exception of the fact that investors tend to put less emotion into their decision.
Yes, they do. It is all about dollars and cents for them, and that makes sense because it's not where they're going to put their head at night. It's where they're going to make money off of it in X amount of time. 12
Yes.
months, 6 months, 36 months, 48
Yep.
months, whatever it's going to be.
And that's a big deal for people. It's like, what does your investment profile look like? Is this your only investment? Okay, what percentage does this represent? I also think, we talked about giving examples. I would like the report generated to contain graphs, charts, and text information that I can share with my client. Okay, a typical analysis like this would be 4 to 5 pages. Okay,
Long.
long. You're telling them, because by the time you put 2 graphs in there, that's a page.
So do you just say like, "Hey, I want you to," but it can't pull real data. So I mean, you're going to say like, "Hey, I want information about the
Well,
last 12 months here in the area, 6 months in the
yes.
area."
So it can pull real data, just not specific data.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to have to do some of the heavy lifting if it has to do with real estate, but the fact of the matter is that there's a lot of options for what you can do with this.
But okay, so let's go back to the graphs really quickly, because what you're telling me, what I'm somewhat understanding. So we've talked about in other shows about going and downloading information. So go to your MLS,
Yep,
go to the last 12 months, 6 months, 3 months, whatever you want to. Maybe get all three of them,
yep.
then have it build a graph based upon the data that you input into the system. Then you say, hey, build me a graph showing the trends in the last 12 months, 6 months, and 3 months on single family, multifamily, condos and townhouses. Color code them so that I know the differences. I mean, is that kind of the prompt that you'd want to use to kind
You
of get that
can
going?
you can go that deep, yes. Now, in some of these cases, AI isn't the best solution.
So what's the
Okay?
best?
Um, Hard work.
Oh, forget that.
I just don't want you to try to get to something that you're never going to be able to get to, right? But I think that creating a prompt that gives you depth is important, right? So that you can create these documents to give them to your clients and share that information.
This is Veronica Jones, a dear good friend of mine.
Do you
So
divulge that some of the information came from an AI program? Absolutely. Um, I think that the legal shenanigans, to use that
Shenanigans.
term that Greg likes, make it absolutely necessary. I think you need to put out there that this is generated from content that may or may not be reliable. What's the phrase that we put on the bottom of every MLS report? You know, Listings are being cloned left and right.
Read that out loud for everybody who's listening.
My rental listings are being cloned left and right. I have posted on the business page that these are scams and people are still calling. I've reported and reported. I don't know if you already touched on this or not, just an issue you are having. I will touch on that in just a minute here.
You
And
dirty
I think
bastard.
that is a huge, and that's the scams, right, that we're going to talk about. And it's huge. But to finish up, on the bottom of every page of the MLS, this information is deemed reliable but not guaranteed. Same kind of thing from AI, right? Or we think it's reliable, but we're not going to guarantee it.
You know what? That comes a human factor on the MLS. I agree with that 100% because Michael, you and I've been doing this game for a long stinking time. And it all comes down to like, oh, it's not actually 3-bed, 2-bath, it's 3-bed, 2.5-bath. Or the square footage is not 1,300 square feet, it's 1,700 square feet.
Yeah.
Because something didn't get recorded properly.
Well, I also think that all of this comes down to the agent, right? Do they know the difference between colonial and farmland? If they put in the wrong information, AI is going to have the wrong information.
Okay, so it's a child, like we said earlier in the show. You have to teach it, train it, groom it, not in a weird way, grooming, but like build the mental capacity so that it's actually going to be able to retain and then give back the information that you want. So if you say it's a 2-bed, 1-bath, when it's really a 4-bed, 4-bed, 3-bath, but you put it in the wrong information, it only knows what it's told. And that's
Correct.
what I say about people all the time. People only know what you tell them.
Yeah.
So in regards to that, same thing. And I think, Michael, you told me this. I'm pretty sure you're the one that told me this. I keep pointing at you. I'm going to do different hand gesture. Is that you treat it like somebody that you want to trust. And so you tell them everything that you have to know about it. And yes, you're going to be vulnerable. I understand that. But why not? If you want to get a true result, give true information. Otherwise, you're just spitting in the wind and it's going to hit you right back in the face and it's not going to feel good.
Yep. All right. So that obviously we could talk for 3 hours, but let's get rid of that for a minute and we'll move away from shenanigans.
No more shenanigans.
And we'll start talking about scams and spam.
All right, let's go. Let's go with scams first because that's what I'm really interested
Well, I think they're kind of one and the same, and I think that it's very important to realize that the internet is still full of people that are trying to take your stuff, whether it be your money, your information, anything else. So Veronica had posed a question because she's a realtor and she says, I get these properties, I'm putting them up there, and my listings are getting cloned left and right, especially rental listings. And this is extremely prevalent on Craigslist and even worse on Facebook right now. And it doesn't matter what you do. You report them, they go away, they come back immediately. I do not have a magic bullet. There is absolutely no way other than you reporting these for you to get rid of them. There is no way for you to prevent people from creating these ads. Okay. These are scams. And the scam works like this, right? They put your listing up there, Veronica, and they expect people to show up at a certain time or call them or whatever it is. And then they say, okay, give me $1,000 deposit and your rental app, and away we go. They cash the $1,000. They say, peace, you're out. How do you protect yourself from this? So, number one, if you have a rental, especially one that is vacant, I'm going to encourage you to put something up at the property that says this is a rental and the only person authorized to rent this property is this agent XYZ from this phone number. Okay. I would put that on the outside of the building. I usually paste it or tape it to the inside of a window. Okay. I do property management as well. I tape that flyer to the inside of the window so that it can be seen from the outside. I do it on the front and the back, and I leave a laminated copy of the document inside the property. So if somebody does break in to hold an open, not unusual, break in through the back door, hold an open house, get, rental apps, get Social Security, you're harvesting data, get deposits, get, even for some of these people, it's like, get the $100 for the application fee. They get 10 of those on a hot property and they've got some money. So
that is ridiculous.
it is insane.
So here, this is me thinking way bigger than most people think, but let's get a little bit crazy here. Why don't you go down to I use a company called Fast Signs here in San Ramon. It's Fast Signs is a national company. Why don't you go get a big old sign and plaster it with a 3M wrap over the garage door? Just like you can't avoid this thing. Like it's there. Like to rent this property, contact Bob Jones. Huh?
You might piss off the neighbors.
Well, what if they get a nice family that lives there? Who knows? But I mean, it's a give or take. But I'm just saying, think outside the box a little bit. But I'm with you. I love the idea of like this can only be shown through Michael Fielden at XYZ, Realty here, anywhere USA. Contact me today for access.
Yep. So let's talk about the next part about this, Greg, because your signage is a good one. One of the things that I have been recommending to single property and multifamily residential rental properties is to consider getting a traditional real estate signpost in the yard.
For rentals?
For rentals.
That actually does not make bad sense. That's an oxymoron, but that does make logical sense for that to take place. Because why not?
Well, why not? And it's also something that is difficult to reproduce, right? It'd be pretty unlikely that somebody's going to pull your sign down and put up their information. What I have seen people do at my rental properties is when I have something taped into the window, they tape something over it.
So why not just put a QR code back to a link to a site about the information about the property?
You can do that. QR code to me is a little more sketch than a traditional because somebody could easily replace the QR code as well.
Well, not everybody's as techie as you are, okay?
Yeah.
You sent me a bunch of little stickers a long time ago, little tablets or whatever.
Yeah, buttons. You thought they were cool and you never used them. I know.
I didn't know how to use them. That's what I'm saying. Not everybody is as techie as you are. But I mean, in retrospect, so we've gone over some of the scams. Now let's talk about spam.
But wait a minute. We got to go leaving this too soon. So, Veronica, the other thing that I'm going to tell you that has worked for me is regularly visiting the properties. Okay. I think that there is nothing more valuable than being present, because sometimes you'll show up and two people will be waiting to consider this rental. Right. And you'll be like, okay, what are you doing here? How'd you get it? And it gives you more insight to how they found it. So I want to make sure that, you understand that being present is very, very important as you go through this.
I agree. Being present in anything real estate related is 100% important. No matter rental, buying, selling, doesn't matter what. Because let's be honest, a lot of us, when I buy a car, which I do like every 10 years, I don't understand the process. It's foreign to me as all get out. And so I'm in the hands of that human being, right? Like they're holding me like a little baby bird's getting held by its mother. So that's the same way people are looking at us for rentals, selling and buying anything real estate related, AI, talking about how you're going to market everything.
Mm-hmm.
Walk people through them, give them the pros, give them the cons, ask them what they want, what they don't want. Do they want to be on the internet? Do they not want to be on the internet? Do you want a QR code? Walk people through the whole process.
Yeah.
Trust me. If my last car dealer actually did it to me, I would go back to him, but that guy sucked.
Yeah.
So I'm not
100%.
going back to him again.
Okay, so let's talk before we go on to spam, Greg. I'm going to talk about another
Shenanigans?
scam, not a shenanigan. We're done with shenanigans.
Damn it.
I'm going to talk about another scam that is one of those things that just pisses me off every single time it comes around. And, I know your dad deals with this a lot as well. I own a few hundred domains, regeeks.com being one of them. Greg forgot the logo in the corner today. I'll blame it on Greg. And I get this letter from this company called Domain Name Services often. I would say I get a few hundred of these a year. And what this is a letter. Oops, I was going to try to make it bigger and I made it smaller. It says, as a courtesy to domain name holders, we are sending you notification that your domain registration is due to expire in the next few months. It is, but I'm not registered with Domain Name Services. I happen to use GoDaddy, and I know that. These people send these letters out. Okay, you must renew your domain or you're going to get rid of it. There's a lot of fear here. And I pay about $10 or $11 a year because I have enough domains. Even at full price, you'd pay $22 a year at GoDaddy. So they are selling you a 5-year registration for $265. They are going to take your domain and move it on your behalf from GoDaddy or whoever you're with to their services, and they're going to charge you the equivalent of 5x or 3x what you would normally be paying. Okay, this is absolutely a scam. There's no benefit to you, nothing. Okay, and you'll notice, review our prices, decide for yourself in here. You are under no obligation. These are the last 3 sentences, right? You are, by this point, you must renew your domain name to retain exclusive rights to it on the web. Okay, now I'm scared. And then as you keep scrolling down, you get to, renew, check, put in your card number, and away you go.
That is 100% a scam.
It is a scam. Are they lying? No.
What do you mean they're not lying?
If you read the whole thing, they're telling you they're just trying to help you, but they're charging you a lot more.
So I'm going to say Ponzi scheme, but I don't think that's the right
It's
verbiage.
a scam. It's just a straight up scam. It's a marketing attempt because your contact information is public record when you sign up. If you don't put contact details there, or if you use a domain hiding service, you can protect yourself from this. But for me, I put my business address. Okay. And I get these all the time. And Greg, this is a scam. Okay.
So the people that are just tuning in right now, go to the top and read the name of this service. Is it
Domain Name Services? If you get this in an envelope from them, and I think I have one, it even comes with a nice envelope to return it with Domain Name Services, looks all professional. The envelope open immediately, renewal information enclosed. Okay, I just got this, obviously. It's a scam. Avoid it. And guys, I'm going to put this out there for anybody. If you feel like you are being scammed and you just don't know if it's an honest thing or not, send an email to helpdesk@supportgeeks.com. Nobody will help you faster avoid a scam than we will. We will get back to you and we're going to say, that's a scam, that's not. If we need to call you, include a phone number, we will get back to you. This is what we do. We help people avoid getting scammed. Okay, now we're going to talk about the next one, Greg, because I know we're running out of minutes. We're going to be talking about spam.
Okay, I like spam.
And first, because I know my mother will never see this show. Veronica, we all get them, Veronica. You're not alone. Wait until the next one. We all get this one too. Okay, so first thing I have to tell you is it is
look at what she said.
Literally have one with the same letterhead in my desk right now. Throw it away. Just absolutely throw it away. It's 2025. We're recording this episode 2025. My mother called me up. She lives in a small town in Oregon, and she says to me, I'm really upset. I had to get a new phone, and I got an iPhone. It's a new iPhone 16e. Verizon gave it to me for free because my flip phone broke, and they don't sell flip phones anymore. I didn't want to tell her about Jitterbug. So my mom's got a phone and she calls me up. She's all, I just wanted to see if it worked. Worked great. And then she says, okay, I got to go finish. Well, my mom has Parkinson's and she didn't hang up. And we're in the car and I'm tootling. I didn't hang up because I was driving, and now I hear her talking. I just don't understand. Where are the buttons when the screen's not on? And I'm like, wow. And I thought to myself, she finally has access to text message. And then I got an email, or excuse me, a text. And Veronica, you're going to love this one. I got a text that said,
where are the buttons when the screen's not on?
Let's see. I got this text from area code 778-984-9791. Did that stuff I sent make it to you? Hope you like it. I don't know this person. Well, you can't see anything.
You can't see it. It's a white screen.
It's a white screen. It's
not to be racist, but it's a white screen.
That is here.
Here, just to be
we are
equal,
all inclusive.
This
is not a white screen. Okay, so I got that text and I'm like, this is from somebody I don't know. They're not in my address book. And I know that this is something wrong. A lot of us probably say the same question. What are they after?
Data.
And that's it. If you respond, they're going to open a conversation. And men, I think you are at greater risk than women.
I would agree with you that, and Michael, I'm going to break in on this conversation really quickly. And the reason why is the fact that I lately, on a daily basis, I'm getting random text messages like, hi, is this Steph? Or is this Steve? Is this Bob? Blah, 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 yakety schmack. And I'm like, I don't even respond anymore, because to Veronica's point, boo, people suck. Yes, people do suck. That's why dogs are better and cats are better. But I mean, it's like I'm getting bombarded by this. And so if I open the message, this is a real world question. If I open the message, does that open my phone to their ability to see in, or only if I respond?
Only if you respond, and then they only receive their response, and it's about social engineering. But I think if you have a link included, yes,
never touch that link.
Never touch the link. But I think that the scam is to create that conversation. And sometimes the conversation goes like this. Oh, I'm sorry. I must have the wrong number. I got this number from
Stacy
in the bar the other night, and we seem to hit it off, but I guess that's not you. How are you? Keep the conversation going. Okay. And realtors, you should learn from these conversations, because the call to action is generally very good. Now, here's where I say it's riskier for men. Then what traditionally happens is you get a picture, and it's usually an attractive person,
It is. It's always an Asian chick.
and it's often Asian, and it says, "Are you sure you don't remember me?" And now you're like, "Ooh, here's a conversation." Ask what they're wearing, Veronica. And do you have a VPN? No, that's not going to help you. What's going to help you here is not answering, not responding, not continuing the conversation. Because eventually they're either going to ask you for money, or they're going to ask you for an address, or they're going to ask you for an email, and they're going to carry that conversation. And sometimes this doesn't happen in just one sitting, right? Because they're invested in a very, very wide net. You have fallen into that net, and it's time for you to be cautious around what you provide.
It's what you provide as a realtor, right? That's one thing, but it's also ladies, and I'm going to inverse this really quickly, Michael. Yeah. Guys, I think, are way more vulnerable online. Ladies are more vulnerable in the real world. Yes. Because, like, hey, my name's Steve. My wife and Stacy and I, we want to come live at 123 Main Street, anywhere, USA. I saw your listing. Can you show it to me tonight at 6? Yep. Vulnerability right there. I mean, you just got to keep your head on a swivel, no matter what you're doing in this in this industry, because people are bananas out there, and they will pull a scam on you, either AI or in person, if they think they can make $1, a dime, or $10,000 or $200,000 out of it. Ladies, and I'm really serious about this. If you're going to go out to a listing appointment, you're going to go on a showing, you don't know the individual that's going to show up, bring another human with you at all times, because we all love you. Just stay safe, for stinking sakes.
100%. All right. Gosh. So I know we're running up on minutes, so we're going to go through a couple of these other ones. Okay. Next one. And this happens more on Windows than it does on Mac. But if your screen suddenly starts talking to you, and a red flashing screen comes on, and it says, you have been, hacked, please call this number, Microsoft's going to help you, blue, blue, blue.
Oh, okay. My God. I actually received that. I've received it several times.
I think you called me the first time.
I did call you, like, Michael, what's going on, dude?
What did I tell you?
It's a scam.
It's a scam. How do you get rid of it? Just turn off your computer, wait 10 seconds, turn it back on. When you log in, it'll be gone. Okay. Now,
people suck.
The other part of that, Microsoft will never call you. Ever, ever, never, ever. Okay. I know that sometimes we get calls and they're like, it sounds like somebody on tech support, and they're trying to help you. They're not trying to help you. Next thing they're going to say is, oh, it's $99. And, they get on there and they carry on until you give in, you pay the $99. And I've had people, Greg, you and I have a mutual friend that their credit card wouldn't work. So they scanned their driver's license and a check to Microsoft.
We are talking about this offline.
Yeah. It wasn't you. And it wasn't Terry.
Thank God it wasn't me.
Okay. In California, we have fast track tolls. Fast Track does not text you when you get a toll violation. Do not pay. Do not click on the link. Guys, if you're thinking to yourself, how the hell did they get my phone number? The answer is it's a scam.
Yep.
Okay. There is no way on the internet easily for somebody to find you and know you have a problem. Okay. Avoid those people. If you don't know somebody, it's okay to ignore them. My wife and I had this discussion the other day. It's like, do you not respond to some texts? Okay. Right now, Greg, I've got 153 unread text messages.
Well, at least there's 149 that weren't me.
Yeah. And a lot of them are because I don't respond to this scams and I wait for these calls because I want to talk all about them, because it's such a twisted thing that people are going to take advantage of you. Last one, and I know we don't have too many seniors on here, but the one
Besides
that
yourself.
besides me, I am a card carrying AARP member. Thank you.
I love that he actually owned that.
Yeah. It was like $10. Get a discount. Okay, this is the one that pisses me the F off. And I'm not a big cusser. My wife's a kindergarten teacher. I've kind of learned how to avoid it. But one of the recent ones is going around targeting the elderly is people will call claiming to be a son, daughter, grandchild, great-grandchild, family member that's in prison and needs help.
Oh my God. Okay. My grandpa got a call and it was, hey, grandpa, this is a real story. Hey, grandpa, it's Greg. I'm in Europe and I lost my credit card and I need you to send me $5,000 so that I can get a book a ticket and a train ticket so I can get home with my girlfriend. Can you help me? My grandpa, now he was like in his 90s at this point, sharp as a whip, right? He's like, hold on. On another phone, calls my mom. Hey, my mom's name's Sally. Hey, Sal, is Greg in Europe right now? No, he's not in Europe. Okay, thanks. Love you. Bye. Click. Boom. Hangs up. He comes back and he's like, look, you're a scammer. I'm going to report you. And click. The other person hung up.
Yeah. But that's exactly how it's happened.
Yep. 100%.
Okay. And it can also be your jail, you're in Europe, you're whatever.
Yep. I got the in jail one too, by the way.
I'm sorry?
My parents were called this, that they told them that I was in jail.
Yeah.
And my mom, my dad calls me, goes, are you in jail? I'm like, no, I'm sitting on the couch. What are you talking about? He's like, scammers. Click.
Yeah. So the moral of this story is, if it's hard to believe, it's probably not true.
Well, unless you're full of shenanigans.
Yeah. Check your facts, guys. Check your facts. All right.
So how would let's go back here. I don't want to brush over that really quickly. Checking your facts. What would be some facts that you'd want to check? Because that's the one thing that people don't understand. And I'm not saying this as a demeaning comment, but a lot of us just don't know what questions to ask. So what facts would you check?
You can ask a leading question. Hey, Greg, do you still have that purple car? Right? Yes and no are both wrong.
Yeah.
No, I never had a purple car. Yes, I do. That's a quick, way. The other one is call somebody. Hey, Greg, I got to call you back. What number can I reach? Can I reach you at the number you just called me? If the answer is no, that's circumspect as well. Why not? Where'd you get this phone number? Oh, this is the jail calling. Great. Can I call back the jail to verify?
What jail exactly is it? And where are you located?
And then go look up the phone number. I type almost every phone number I don't know into Google.
I do the same thing, 100%. Shit, what's the site that I use all the time?
There's a bunch of them. There's white pages. I mean, there's a ton of different.
Yeah, just like Michael was saying, just type it in and it'll pop back at some level.
And if there's nothing that shows up or just one or two, it's a spam, right? If it's a valid number, it's going to show up.
Yeah.
So,
and ghost numbers and everything else. But yeah, I agree with you 100% on that, Michael. Just keep your head on a swivel, watch your six. You know, if it smells funky, it's funky. It's like the rule that we have in our house. We don't eat food after 3 days. So if we make hamburgers, hot dogs, tacos, whatever, after 3 days, doesn't matter. It goes in the garbage because it starts to smell funky, right?
Yep.
If you smell funk, hang up.
If you smell funk, it's junk.
Oh, dude, get that.com. Michael's going to go buy it, I guarantee.
Wait, I'm going to call the domain name services right now. Okay. All right, guys, this has been a great show. Greg, thank you again for making this exciting and fun. And special shout out to Veronica for all her help in feeding us some information. Greg, where can they find you?
Oh, Michael, that's very kind of you to ask. You guys can find me anywhere. Just Google my ugly mug, Greg McDaniel. I'll be on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Well, I'm actually not on TikTok. I just sit there and watch people on TikTok, mainly fishing videos, which is weird because I don't fish. But just Google me, Greg McDaniel. Instagram's Greg McDaniel REU. YouTube, Greg McDaniel, or McDaniel Real Estate Team. Just sniff me out.
And if it's easy enough, you can send him an email at greg@regeeks.com.
There we go.
And Greg, I got 2 tidbits for you. One, y'all, I got a new clock.
I know, and it actually tells time this time.
Tells time. We'll see if that continues to work. And better than fishing videos, because I was on fishing videos, is I am now addicted to watching people get arrested for DUI.
Oh, did you see the cowboy guy with the female police officer?
No.
And he was giving her dancing tricks or tips, and he's like, and she's like, "Are you a dancer?" He's like, I'm just drunk. And she's like, gotcha.
I did see that one. That one was a skit, but some of them are classic.
It's hilarious.
All right. With that news, let's bid him adieu. Greg, thanks again. Thank you, audience. And we will see you next week.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're amazing human beings. Michael Fielden is a legend, a myth, and the man in flesh when it comes to technology. RE Geeks, get a hold of him today. He saved my life. He'll save yours. Find me on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Until then, boom, peace. Love you. Peace. Bye.